because this is how I see things, and in fact, I see four of them.
Kevin Costner has been Hollywood royalty for decades. From Dances with Wolves to Yellowstone, he has built a legacy that few can match. For 18 years, his marriage to Christine Baumgartner seemed like one of the industry's rare success stories. But behind the red carpets and the public displays of devotion, cracks were forming. The demands of fame, the distance, and the secrets they kept hidden from the world eventually became too much to bear. Now, we finally know the truth about their tragic divorce, and it is more shocking than anyone expected. The foundation of their marriage. Kevin Costner and Christine Baumgartner's love story began long before they became one of Hollywood's most enduring couples. Their first encounter happened in the early to mid-1990s on a golf course, where Costner was practicing swing mechanics and preparing for his role in the 1996 romantic comedy sports film Tin Cup. At the time of this initial meeting, Costner was dating Bridget Rooney, with whom he would later have a son named Liam. The connection between Costner and Baumgartner remained completely platonic and casual. A brief crossing of paths that neither could have predicted would lead to marriage nearly a decade later. The pair's paths crossed again by chance inside a restaurant in 1998. During this second encounter, sparks flew, and Costner asked Baumgartner for her phone number. But he made an unusual request that he would later admit was a slight social misstep. He explicitly asked Baumgartner if she would mind if he waited exactly 2 weeks to call her, a gesture he later admitted to the media he did not realize was a slight insult to women. Fortunately for Costner, Baumgartner was patient and understanding. By the late 1990s, when their romantic relationship began, Kevin Costner was already one of the most powerful and highly decorated figures in Hollywood. He had achieved ultimate industry validation, winning 2 Academy Awards for Best Picture and Best Director for his 1990 epic Dances with Wolves. He had led massive blockbusters like The Bodyguard, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and Field of Dreams. His career was a testament to his talent and his ability to connect with audiences across genres. Christine Baumgartner was working as a professional fashion model and a business student when their dating relationship solidified. Armed with a business degree from California State University, Fullerton, she transitioned into fashion design. Around the time she met Costner, she realized the laptop bag market lacked a blend of high fashion and functionality. She co-founded the luxury handbag brand Cat Bag Couture, with CAT being an acronym for Christine and her business partner, Tamara. Costner provided financial investment to help clear the initial capital overhead needed to launch her luxury brand line. The handbag line gained legitimate cultural traction when several of Baumgartner's daytime purse designs were selected and featured on characters during episodes of Desperate Housewives. The couple began exclusive romantic dating in 1998, shortly after their restaurant reconnection. However, in 2002, after roughly 3 years of dating, the couple hit a severe impasse and officially broke up. The primary source of the separation was that Baumgartner, who was in her late 20s, explicitly wanted to have children of her own. Costner, who already had 4 children from prior relationships, was deeply hesitant to start a new family. He later admitted that fear kept him from marrying Christine, as she wanted a child, but he was afraid he could not be an effective father. Baumgartner delivered an explicit ultimatum at the time of the split. She told Costner she would wait for him to conquer his fear of parenting infants again, but she would not wait forever. Costner spent months reflecting on the breakup, later stating that he woke up one day and realized he was throwing away a chance at true love simply out of a fear of saying yes to a baby. He told himself that he was not going to lose a beautiful woman who was willing to be with him until his last breath because he was scared to say yes to a child. The couple reunited before the end of 2002. Costner formally proposed to Baumgartner in 2003, solidifying their long-term commitment. The couple tied the knot on September 25, 2004, at Costner's highly private 160-acre luxury wilderness estate known as Dunbar Ranch, located just outside Aspen, Colorado. Costner made a cinematic arrival to the ceremony riding in a traditional horse-drawn carriage, while Baumgartner arrived at the outdoor altar space in a green vintage pickup truck. The official exchange of vows took place directly alongside a mountain stream running through the property. Following the ceremony, the wedding party moved underneath a massive canvas tent, erected on the ranch fields for dinner and dancing. Roughly 300 close friends and family members attended the private wedding, including notable Hollywood figures such as Costner's Tin Cup co-star Don Johnson, actor Tim Allen, and actress Mary McDonnell. At the time of their marriage, Costner was 49 years old and Baumgartner was 30, representing a 19-year age gap. They welcomed 3 children together: sons Caden Wyatt Costner, born 2007, Hayes Logan Costner, born 2009, and daughter Grace Avery Costner, born 2010. For nearly 2 decades, the mainstream entertainment media consistently portrayed Costner and Baumgartner as one of Hollywood's most stable, enduring couples. Because Costner's career experienced a massive resurgence due to his role as patriarch John Dutton on Paramount's hit series Yellowstone, the public heavily conflated his real-life marriage with the rugged, family-first values of his on-screen persona. The couple was regularly photographed looking happy and unified at major Hollywood ceremonies, including the Academy Awards, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, and the Golden Globes. But behind the public image of a perfect Hollywood marriage, there were challenges and troubles that remained hidden from view. The cracks in their relationship were beginning to show, and the foundation they had built over nearly 2 decades was about to be tested in ways no one could have predicted. The invisible strains of a traveling career. The picture-perfect image of Kevin Costner and Christine Baumgartner's marriage concealed a growing tension that had been building for years. Behind the red carpets and the public displays of unity, the demands of Costner's career created a strain that would ultimately prove too heavy for the marriage to bear. What appeared to the outside world as an idyllic Hollywood romance was, in reality, a relationship increasingly fractured by distance, absence, and competing priorities. A massive, hidden point of friction in the marriage was the intense, grueling shooting schedule required for Costner's various film projects. He had been hesitant to sign on to Yellowstone from the beginning, knowing how much time it would take him away from his family. The show filmed in Utah and Montana, while Costner and Baumgartner lived in California with their 3 children. He had to be convinced to do the project, and there were months of discussions with his family before he committed. Despite his initial reluctance, the show became a massive hit, and with it came the demanding production schedule that kept him away from home for extended periods. Filming for Yellowstone required Costner to spend several consecutive months out of the year on location, physically separating him from Baumgartner and their children. Christine wasn't happy with the schedule delays because it caused him to miss so much time with his family, and multiple sources close to the couple identified this as one of the primary reasons for their marital problems. Baumgartner wanted him to be present at their Santa Barbara home, but during filming, he was simply not around very much. His absence was reportedly very hard for her. The friction deepened significantly when Costner embarked on his massive, multi-part passion project, Horizon: An American Saga. The project had a mammoth shooting schedule of 220 days, and Costner was obsessively committed to bringing his vision to life. Baumgartner was not happy about his obsession with the project, and sources noted that she didn't want him to throw himself into another demanding production. At times, his career had taken precedence over his home life, and the strain was becoming increasingly apparent. The financial risk of Horizon added another layer of pressure. Costner chose to personally self-fund and heavily mortgage a massive portion of his personal net worth to finance the Western epic. He banked the project largely, but not entirely, on undeveloped California land he owned. The financial pressure was immense, and it injected massive logistical pressure directly into the household. Sources close to the family revealed that Baumgartner had repeatedly voiced severe frustration over Costner's prolonged absences, explicitly asking him to step away from his heavy filming schedules to focus on being a present co-parent. She reportedly gave him an ultimatum to quit Yellowstone because of the toll it was taking on their family life. To shelter their family from Hollywood paparazzi, the couple heavily fortified their primary real estate holding, a multi-acre beachside compound in Carpinteria, California. The property included a baseball field, multiple residences, and 500 feet of private beach. But the family also faced localized stressors within their elite social circle, including tense property and privacy disputes with wealthy neighbors regarding beach access, noise ordinances, and structural sight lines on the Carpinteria coast. While the media viewed their lifestyle as an idyllic coastal dream, court documents later revealed that Baumgartner felt increasingly isolated within the heavily secured property, while Costner traveled the country for work. The isolation, combined with his prolonged absences, created a growing sense of loneliness that she was struggling to manage. By the time the divorce was filed in May 2023, the invisible strains of Costner's traveling career had taken their toll. The cracks that had been forming for years had finally become too wide to bridge, and the foundation of their marriage was about to face its most brutal test yet. The genesis and brutal timeline of the crisis. The fairy tale image of Kevin Costner and Christine Baumgartner's marriage concealed a growing tension that had been building for years. The cracks that had been forming for years finally became too wide to bridge when Baumgartner made the decision to end their nearly two-decade marriage. Court documents submitted during the initial proceedings show that the couple's official date of physical separation was April 11, 2023. On May 1, 2023, Christine Baumgartner officially filed a petition for the dissolution of marriage in the Santa Barbara County Superior Court, formally citing irreconcilable differences. The filing came just months shy of what would have been their 19th wedding anniversary, blindsiding many who had viewed them as one of Hollywood's most stable couples. Costner's formal representatives immediately issued a statement expressing profound sadness over the development, explicitly noting that circumstances entirely beyond his control had forced him to participate in a divorce action. The statement read, "It is with great sadness that circumstances beyond his control have transpired, which have resulted in Mr. Costner having to participate in a dissolution of marriage action." The carefully worded statement suggested that Costner had not initiated the split and was being forced to respond to Baumgartner's filing. In her subsequent court declarations, Baumgartner broke her silence to reveal a major point of personal betrayal. She alleged that Costner informed their 3 children about the impending divorce via a brief 10-minute Zoom call broadcast from a hotel room in Las Vegas while he was on location, entirely without her consent or physical presence. Baumgartner stated that she had wanted to wait until Costner returned to their Santa Barbara home so they could tell the children together and in person. She had even researched the best way to break the news and shared several articles with Costner about the importance of talking to children as a united front. Costner, however, disregarded her proposal. He insisted that he had the right to tell the children first and privately without her present. Baumgartner expressed confusion about his motivation, noting that he was planning to be home just 5 days later and could have easily come home from Las Vegas to have the conversation in person. She described the brief Zoom session as inadequate for such a significant life announcement. The entire structure of the divorce battle was defined by a highly restrictive prenuptial agreement signed by both parties on September 17, 2004, just days before their wedding. Costner insisted on this ironclad document because his 1994 divorce from his first wife, Cindy Silva, resulted in a historic $80 million settlement that heavily depleted his net worth. He told the court that when he and Baumgartner began discussing marriage in 2003, he made it clear that he would not marry again without assurance that his separate property residences would remain his to live in no matter what happened. He had been through a divorce before and found himself without a home base, a situation he never wanted to repeat. The 2004 prenup dictated that in the event of a divorce, Baumgartner was entitled to a fixed, one-time lump sum payment of roughly $1.5 million. It also required Costner to pay her $100,000 on their wedding day and again on their first anniversary, and an additional $200,000 to help her buy a new home along with 1 year of property tax and insurance payments. A highly specific clause within the agreement stated that if either party filed for divorce, Baumgartner was legally obligated to vacate all Costner-owned real estate properties within exactly 30 days of the filing date. The primary marital home was a spectacular cliffside ocean view compound valued at an estimated $145 million, located in Carpinteria, California. Because Costner had purchased the land and built the main structures in 1988, years before marrying Baumgartner, the compound was legally classified as his sole separate property under California family law. However, when the 30-day post-filing deadline expired in June 2023, Baumgartner completely refused to leave the estate. Her legal team argued in court that she could not safely relocate 3 teenagers from their lifelong home without first establishing a concrete, court-mandated monthly child support payment structure to fund a comparable rental property. She argued that Costner was flagrantly ignoring the financial needs of the party's minor children by requesting that the court evict his family before making an order for child support. Costner, however, offered to contribute $30,000 per month for a rental house and a $10,000 advance for her moving costs. On July 5, 2023, Santa Barbara County Superior Court Judge Thomas P. Anderle firmly rejected Baumgartner's arguments and officially upheld the prenup's housing clause, legally ordering her to vacate the main house by July 31, 2023. The judge noted that Baumgartner's claims had no reasonable grounds and that her proposed conditional agreement to move by the end of August was not warranted under the circumstances. To comply with the judge's deadline while still fighting the case, Baumgartner moved her belongings into a smaller, secondary guest home on the same compound that was normally used as residential quarters for the estate's staff. Costner's legal team also filed motions accusing Baumgartner of planning to strip the house of valuable items. The judge subsequently issued an order requiring her to photograph every single item she intended to pack, requiring Costner's explicit written signature to verify she was not taking shared art, furniture, or appliances. The agreement also permitted her to take only her toiletries, clothing, handbags, and jewelry. The legal battle over the prenuptial agreement and the housing dispute set the stage for an even more grueling confrontation: the fight over child support and custody. The court proceedings would reveal just how far apart the couple was on financial matters and would force both sides to make concessions that neither had anticipated. The multi-phase child support battle and shocking revelations. The legal battle between Kevin Costner and Christine Baumgartner reached its most contentious point over the issue of child support. What began as a request for an astronomical monthly payment evolved into a courtroom showdown that exposed the couple's lavish lifestyle, their financial disagreements, and the lengths both sides would go to in pursuit of their respective positions. In June 2023, Baumgartner's legal team filed formal documents requesting that the court order Costner to pay $248,000 per month in child support. The figure stunned observers and set the stage for a bitter legal fight. Baumgartner claimed the total requested was less than the amount needed to maintain the children in their accustomed lifestyle. To support this massive number, she submitted an explosive declaration detailing the hyper-luxurious lifestyle the children were accustomed to, explicitly stating that a life of global travel and luxury was in the teenager's DNA at this point. Her attorney argued that the family's oceanside lifestyle, including a compound with a volleyball court, garden, infinity pool, and guest houses, was an experience that had become part of their identity. As the legal pressure intensified, Baumgartner's legal team progressively lowered their formal request. They first dropped the demand to $175,000 per month after a forensic accountant's assessment, and later adjusted it to $161,000 per month right before the evidentiary hearing. The reduction was strategic, but the figure remained far above what Costner was willing to pay. Costner's legal team heavily resisted these figures, arguing that the true historical baseline cost of maintaining the children's needs was closer to $51,000 per month. They offered a compromise of $75,000 per month, but the gap between the parties remained enormous. On the stand, Costner made his position clear, stating that his biggest concern was being ordered to pay child support above the needs of his children and for the needs of his ex-wife. He argued that her request was highly inflated and unsubstantiated, claiming she allocated 60% of expenses, such as private trainers, unallocated credit card expenses, and her plastic surgery to the minor children without any explanation or basis. During the child support hearings, Costner's forensic accountants unsealed detailed internal ledgers showing the household's actual expenditures. They presented evidence alleging that Baumgartner had spent $188,500 on personal plastic surgery and cosmetic procedures over a short period, claiming she was trying to mask personal luxury expenses as child support needs. The court ledgers revealed that the family's average monthly spending in 2022 totaled an astronomical $240,000, which included massive cash withdrawals from ATMs, substantial boutique shopping sprees, and extensive spa treatments. Costner's lawyers submitted evidence showing that immediately before filing for divorce, Baumgartner quietly charged $100,000 to the personal credit cards of Costner's estate staff members to pay her private family law and criminal defense attorneys. The revelation suggested that Baumgartner had been using the household's resources to fund her legal battle without Costner's knowledge. During cross-examination, Baumgartner was forced to admit that she had received a discreet $20,000 cash payment from wealthy financier and family neighbor Josh Connor during a trip to Hawaii in July 2023, though she maintained it was a loan used to give cash gifts to her mother. She testified that Connor was a family friend of 7 or 8 years and denied he was her boyfriend at the time. She tearfully admitted that Costner had been paying her mother $5,000 per month for years, but the payments stopped when they separated. Because the judge found that Baumgartner's team had engaged in unnecessary legal maneuvering regarding the interpretation of the prenuptial agreement, she was formally ordered to pay over $14,000 to cover Costner's defense costs early in the proceedings. The child support battle had exposed the financial realities of the Costner household and set the stage for the final resolution of the divorce. On September 1st, 2023, following an intense two-day evidentiary hearing featuring extensive live testimonies, Judge Thomas P. Anderley ruled completely in Costner's favor, slashing the support obligation down to a final order of $63,229 per month. The decision brought an end to the child support battle, awarding Baumgartner roughly a quarter of what she had initially demanded. The courtroom revelations painted a picture of a marriage defined by extraordinary wealth and the complexities that came with it. The settlement that followed would bring an end to the legal war, but the revelations from the courtroom would linger long after the case was closed, offering a rare glimpse into the financial realities of one of Hollywood's most high-profile divorces. The amicable settlement agreement and aftermath. The bitter legal battle that had consumed Kevin Costner and Christine Baumgartner for months came to an unexpected end on September 19, 2023. Just before a massive, highly anticipated public trial to challenge the validity of their prenuptial agreement was set to begin, the two parties suddenly signed a 3-page settlement agreement. The agreement brought an end to what had become a contentious and increasingly personal court fight. Both sides had spent months preparing for a trial that would have exposed even more details about their finances, their marriage, and their personal lives. But in the end, the prospect of a public trial and the financial risks associated with challenging the prenup proved too daunting for Baumgartner to proceed. To avoid a highly damaging public trial that could activate the prenup's fee-shifting clause, Baumgartner capitulated and signed the deal. A judge had informed her that the prenuptial agreement would be enforced, meaning she would have had to repay Costner more than $1 million and pay his attorney's fees if she decided to fight it in court. The risk was simply too great. While the final total of the settlement package remains formally sealed under a court privacy agreement, documentation shows that Costner agreed to pay Baumgartner an enhanced financial amount slightly above the baseline $1.5 million prenup allotment in exchange for her dropping all future litigation. A joint statement released by Costner's publicist confirmed that the former couple have come to an amicable and mutually agreed-upon resolution of all issues pertaining to their divorce proceedings. The statement emphasized that both parties were committed to moving forward and co-parenting their children effectively. The final signed decree specified that Costner was solely responsible for paying 100% of the children's health insurance, private school tuitions, extracurricular activities, elite sports coaching, and their oldest son's vehicle purchase and maintenance costs. The child support order of $63,000 per month remained in place, with specific amounts allocated to each child. The detailed breakdown of expenses ensured that the children's needs would be met without further dispute. The marriage was officially legally dissolved on Friday, February 16, 2024, when the final judgment was formally signed by the judge and entered into the Santa Barbara County court system. The date marked the official end of a union that had lasted nearly 2 decades. In a highly unique addition to the final divorce decree, the court explicitly waived the standard, mandatory California legal requirement that forces divorcing parents to attend state-run co-parenting and mediation classes. The waiver reflected the court's confidence that both parties could co-parent effectively without state intervention. Following the finalization of the divorce, Baumgartner's romantic relationship with wealthy financier and former neighbor Josh Connor progressed openly. The two had been neighbors in Montecito and had developed a close friendship that turned romantic after both experienced divorce. Their relationship had been the subject of speculation throughout the divorce proceedings, and Connor had even been deposed in the case. On October 20, 2025, Christine Baumgartner formally married Connor during a small, private, romantic beachside ceremony in Santa Barbara, officially changing her marital status. The wedding was attended by close friends and family, and the couple appeared genuinely happy together. Meanwhile, in late 2023, media outlets heavily linked Costner romantically to Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Jewel after they were spotted together at a tennis charity event on Richard Branson's Necker Island. The rumors persisted for months, with tabloids speculating about a potential romance between the two stars. Costner went on a public press tour in 2024 and explicitly denied any romantic involvement with Jewel, confirming that while they had great conversations, they were entirely platonic, and that he remains unmarried. He told Howard Stern that they had never gone out and that he did not want the rumors to ruin their friendship because that was what they had. In June 2024, during a live interview on CBS Mornings, Costner spoke candidly about the emotional toll of the divorce, calling the collapse of his 18-year marriage a deeply crushing, powerful, hurtful moment, but noting that he had no choice but to dust himself off and move forward for the sake of his kids. He added that his children were looking at him, so he could not wilt like a daisy. He acknowledged that the divorce was a painful chapter in his life, but emphasized that he was focused on the future and on being a present father for his children. He also expressed gratitude for the support he had received from his family and friends during the difficult process. The divorce had been a long and arduous journey for both parties, but the settlement agreement brought a measure of closure. Costner had managed to protect his assets and his prenuptial agreement, while Baumgartner had secured an enhanced financial package and the freedom to move on with her life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more updates.